So recently, merong nag-viral na post. Pinost ni 2 sentimo sa kalye sa Facebook. And ang sabi niya doon, financial literacy is just a concept made by privileged people to blame poor people for remaining poor and to portray themselves as financially more educated even though the main source of their wealth is from inheritance. Yan. When it comes to financial management and budgeting, no one can beat poor people. I've seen people budget 500 to 1,000 pesos for a week, while those privileged people who claim to be financially literate won't survive a week with that same amount. This is why it's not about poor people being not financially equipped, but rather the advice of privileged people based on the context that they have never really struggled. So how about stop looking at how poor people survive and start reflecting on your own privileged history. Yan. So medyo controversial yung take ni 2 sentimo sa kalye pagdating sa financial literacy. And siguro I will just give my initial reactions dun sa sinabi niya part by part. So unang-una, financial literacy is just a concept made by privileged people. Para sa akin kasi, ang financial literacy, it's for everyone. I don't think it matters kung sino yung nag-invent niyan or sino yung nag-come up ng concept, because after almost 20 years, yan, nagsimula kasi ako 2007 pa sa financial education. After almost 20 years, nakita ko kung paano nakatulong ang financial literacy both sa mga mayayaman na, so let's just call them rich people, but also most especially sa mga poor people. So hindi na tayo masyadong magiging conscious sa ating terms na gagamitin, no, para mas mabilis tayo makapag-discuss. Sa mga mahihirap or less privileged, nakakatulong ang financial literacy. I've seen public school teachers, mga factory workers, where I've conducted financial literacy training na nakatulong talaga yon sa kanila financially. So again, I don't think it's really important who invented the concept of financial literacy, but what I know is it does help people across all income classes. So when it comes to financial management and budgeting, no one can beat poor people. And I would agree, not because mas magaling talaga sila sa pag-budget ng pera per se, but poor people, they tend to be more resilient, although I hate using the word resilient kasi naroromanticize kasi yung resilience but mas matiisin, yun na sasabihin natin, no? They know ano ba yung talagang essential sa buhay nila, and they're willing to sacrifice yung mga non-essentials. So kaya 500 to 1,000 pesos a week na budget, talagang napagkakasya nila. But if you look at how they live, it's super simple. And if you ask them if that's what they really want in life, of course, they will say no. May mga pangarap din yan sa buhay. It's just that mas mataas yung kanilang, sabihin natin na willpower, because they are trying to survive, diba? Na talagang magtipid. This is why it's not about poor people being not financially equipped, but rather the advice of privileged people based on the context that they have never really struggled. And on that part, I would somehow agree. So how about stop looking at how poor people survive and start reflecting on your own privileged history? And this is a personal realization that I have in the past few years. Even siguro as early as 2015, 2016, na nararamdaman ko na to. Because back in 2007, talagang napaka widespread nung mga, sabihin na natin, traditional, quote-unquote, traditional ways of teaching financial education. Sinasabi doon na tipong kung marunong kang mag-budget, for sure, kaya mong yumaman. So, I think it's not really that simple. May mga nagsasabi na kung gusto mo magtipid, edi wag kang magkape sa Starbucks, for example. While there is truth to that, I also believe that, again, it is not that simple. So, to further elaborate yung mga point or yung message na gusto ko na ibigay sa inyo, which is in relation to my reaction to this post. So let me discuss with you a little bit about financial literacy based from my experience in teaching financial education for the past 20 years. So let's start with the definition. Ang pinakasimple na nakita ko is galing sa Investopedia. Sabi ko, wag na natin gawing masyadong technical. They define financial literacy as it is the knowledge of how to make smart decisions with money. And the point here is, it does not define kung anong income class ka or ano yung financial status mo. Which means, mahirap ka man, middle class, or mayaman, you can be financially literate. On the other end, you can also be financially illiterate. So, pwede kang maging marunong humawak ng pera kahit na mahirap ka lang. So, when we say financial literacy, it does not indicate na ito yung financial status mo. So, it does not follow na dahil mayaman ka, ibig sabihin financially literate ka na kagad. That's not true. May mga kilala ko na mayayaman na hindi marunong mag-handle ng pera. On the other hand, pag may na-meet ka na mahirap, hindi mo pwedeng i-conclude kagad na kaya sila mahirap kasi hindi sila marunong humawak ng pera. That's also not true because I've met people in the lower income classes who are really good at budgeting. Yung mga nanay na nasa mga, sabihin na natin, depressed areas, I've done outreach sa kanila to talk about financial literacy, and I've met, lalo na yung mga nagmamanage ng mga sarili nilang mga sari-sari stores, na kung ang gagaling sa pera, and they are really financially literate. So financial literacy is the knowledge of how to make smart decisions with money, and it does not belong to a particular financial status or a particular income class. A person can be financially literate regardless of their current situation. Now, pagdating sa financial literacy, gumawa tayo ng table. Ayan, para mas maganda yung discussion natin. Financial literacy, you can create a matrix or a table. So you have rich people, poor people, and you have individuals na mababa yung financial literacy nila and mga matataas yung financial literacy nila. So if you're rich, pero mababa ang financial literacy mo, ang traditional na sinasabi ng mga financial gurus, sabihin natin na financial gurus, is someday they will become poor. Mayaman ka ngayon pero hindi ka marunong mag-handle ng pera, in the future, maghihirap ka. However, if you're rich and you know how to handle your money, then definitely you will stay rich in the future. Ngayon, kung mahirap ka at hindi ka pa marunong mag-handle ng pera, then definitely you will stay poor all your life. And ang napaka-prevalent na lesson na sinasabi ng mga financial gurus or financial advocates is that if you're poor, but if you have high financial literacy, pinag-aralan mo kung paano mag-manage ng pera, then someday, you will become rich. Diba? Ito yung pinaka-popular na belief and teachings and concepts that people in the financial education industry say. However, I believe that it is not that simple. Daming assumptions na meron na ginawa to say this conclusion. So, what do I mean by this? Very popular na quote ito na nakikita ko sa mga financial education Facebook pages na mga financial advocates. Sabi nila doon, if you are born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it's your mistake. And I will admit, dati, pinopost ko rin to sa social media. But I believe that this is very simplistic again. It is not that simple. Wag tayo mag-victim blame. Yan. Sometimes, it is not their fault. Wala silang ginagawang mali, kaya sila nananatiling mahirap. So, if you are born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it's your mistake. I believe that this statement is false. No, I don't believe in this anymore because it is not that simple. So what do I mean by this? So balik tayo dun sa table natin, dun sa graph natin. Pag rich ka and you have low financial literacy, you will become poor someday. On the other side, if you're poor but you have high financial literacy, then you will become rich in the future. I think the more accurate statement here is this one. If you're rich pero mababa ang financial literacy mo, yes, you can become poor in the future or you will stay rich. Pwede ka pa rin maging mayaman in the future kahit na hindi ka marunong mag-handle ng pera kung mayaman ka na in the first place. Bakit? On the other hand, sasabihin ko mamaya, on the other hand, kung mahirap ka pero mataas ang financial literacy mo, magaling ka mag-handle ng pera kahit na mahirap ka pa lang, no? Yes, it is possible that you will become rich someday, but it is also a possibility that you will stay poor. Kahit na marunong ka mag-handle ng pera, hindi ka pa rin aasenso. Bakit? Because meron tayong realities. So, in the first case, rich people will stay rich even if they have low financial literacy because number one, pwedeng meron silang generational wealth. Sobrang yaman ng pamilya kahit na waldasin ng anak yung pera nila, hindi mauubos. So even if hindi marunong mag-manage ng pera yung anak, hindi maubos yung pera nila and that person will probably die still rich. Pangalawa, and this is the more common scenario that I see, may family intervention. So, mayaman yung pamilya, merong anak na waldas sa pera, hindi marunong mag-handle ng pera. Nag-i-intervene na yung kapatid o yung mga magulang na, hey, bibigyan ka na lang namin ng allowance, kami na lang mag-handle ng finances mo, we'll set up a trust fund for you, we'll set up a business under your name, etc. We'll just set you up and you go and enjoy your life. So again, kahit na mababa yung financial literacy ng isang tao, pero they come from a wealthy family and the family intervened, they will remain rich. Ngayon, ang pinaka-issue kasi yung pangalawa. Poor people, pag wala silang financial literacy, they will stay poor. I think that's 99% true, no? Pero if you're poor but you have high financial literacy, you can still remain poor. Bakit? Bakit hindi ka aasenso kahit na marunong ka mag-handle ng pera? Because sometimes the real reason why they are poor is not because of financial literacy but because they lack access and there are systemic problems. Ibig sabihin, hindi nila kasalanan. Meron talagang mga problema na beyond their control. That's why nahihirapan sila umasenso sa buhay. Right? And I think this is the thing that a lot of financial advocates fail or miss, no? Fail to understand or miss. And I think dito rin nag-uugat yung sinabi dun sa Facebook post na shinare ko kanina. So if wealth was the inevitable result of hard work and enterprise, every woman in Africa would be a millionaire. So sinabi ito ni George Monbiot, who is a British writer and political activist. And I agree with this because maski sa Pilipinas, marami na rin akong nakausap, nakakwentuhan ng mga masisipag na public school teachers, taxi drivers, minsan may mga nakakakwentuhan akong security guards, mga masisipag itong mga taong ito, mga marurunong din mag-budget, pero hindi sila umaasenso sa buhay because hindi enough ang financial literacy para mag-succeed, magkaroon ng financial success in society. Okay? So what do I mean by this? So there's a book called The Unfair Advantage, which was written by Ash Ali and Hassan Kuba. And merong concept dun sa libro na to na para sa akin, it encapsulates or it summarizes the real reason why some people are struggling in life despite having good work ethics, despite being hardworking, etc. And that is, success requires fair play and an unfair advantage. So sabi niya, para ka maging umasenso sa buhay, dalawa yung kailangan mo. Kailangan mo ng fair play at kailangan mo ng isang unfair advantage. So, ano ibig sabihin niyang fair play at saka unfair advantage? Pag sinabi natin fair play, ito yung mga ingredients na lahat ng tao pwedeng magkaroon. So, dito papasok yung hardworking, mayroong perseverance, may determination, may grit. Basically, yung ugali, habits ng tao, yun yung first ingredient. So, syempre, kung gusto mo maging successful sa buhay, kailangan hardworking ka, di ba? Kailangan committed ka, persistent, you have grit, you have determination. Kaya siya fair play kasi lahat tayo pwedeng magkaroon nito. Ang problema, kulang yung fair play, di ba? Kailangan natin ng unfair advantage. Ano yung mga unfair advantage? Ang unfair advantage, it can come in 5 forms. And ang abbreviation nga dito, MILES, M-I-L-E-S. So kung papansin niyo, MILES yung initials ng 5 na unfair advantage. So unang-una, money. So kung meron kang pera, may unfair advantage ka kagad. 'Di ba? Kung gusto mong magnegosyo at mayaman kayong pamilya, madaling mag-start kasi may capital ka na kagad. So kung masipag ka pa, then definitely magsasucceed yung business mo. Number 2, unfair advantage is intelligence and insight. Matalino ka, visionary ka. That is an unfair advantage. Location and luck. Maswerte ka sa buhay, or para sa akin yung location, being at the right place at the right time, it really is a factor for success. For example, isa sa mga businesses ko, yung business partner ko doon sa business na yon, na-meet ko lang sa isang convention, sa isang event. So, I was at the right place at the right time to meet this person. Nagkatabi lang kami doon sa summit, no, doon sa convention. We introduced ourselves, nag-exchange kami ng Facebook profile. We discovered that we're both into entrepreneurship. We talked and we decided to start a business, and yun na, naging business partner ko na siya, na hanggang ngayon tumatakbo. So, I think that was location and luck. Of course, education and expertise. Kung nakapag-aral ka, meron kang unfair advantage. And status. Status meaning yung network mo. Sino yung mga kakilala mo? Who do you know? Yung mga mayayaman, definitely meron yung status kasi may mga network na yan, may mga kakilala na yan. Yung mga artista, magsa-start bigla ng sarili nilang YouTube channel without any effort. Libo kagad yung followers or subscribers versus an ordinary person magsa-start ng sariling YouTube channel, lilipas yung ilang buwan, hindi pa lumagpas ng 10,000 yung subscribers, di ba? Pagdating sa mga mahihirap, ito yung problema. Meron silang fair play, masipag sila magtrabaho, pero kulang sila sa unfair advantage. Siyempre, wala silang pera. Intelligence, kaya yan question mark kasi yung mga mahihirap, sabihin na natin, they cannot really focus on their health. Meaning, pag nagutom yan, kakain yan ng instant noodles or kulang sa nutritional value minsan yung diet nila. And of course, that affects their intellectual development, which is related to education and enterprise kasi karamihan din sa kanila hindi nakapag-aral. So, wala na sa kanila yung unfair advantage na yon. Siyempre, wala rin sa kanila yung status but also yung location. Diba? Kung nakatira ka sa, sabihin natin, sa isang neighborhood na lahat struggling to survive, wala kang opportunity na makikita doon, di ba? Ako, I was privileged to go to that convention and meet and network with people. So, I was able to put myself at a good location and increase my luck in finding someone who will give me an opportunity. But sa mga mahihirap, wala yan. May mga mahihirap talaga na kahit na masipag, kahit na talagang determined na iangat yung antas ng buhay nila, hindi nagsasucceed because wala silang unfair advantage. Okay? So success requires fair play and an unfair advantage. And when it comes to financial literacy, yung fair play ang financial literacy. So Kaya tayo nagtuturo ng financial literacy because it is something that everyone needs, especially the poor people, kasi wala na nga silang unfair advantage, wala pa rin silang fair play in the form of financial literacy. So kami as financial advocates, we still provide financial education sa mga mahihirap kasi at least nakatulong kami sa isang part. Ngayon, yung unfair advantage, kailangan ng mga mahihirap ng systemic solutions. Ano yung ibig sabihin nito? Education and skills training, access to capital, equitable lifestyle. Ibig sabihin, siguro, government projects na skills training, di ba? Dito sa may barangay namin, every week, mayroong free seminar, free livelihood seminar. So, I think that's a very good way to give an unfair advantage dun sa mga mahihirap dito sa community namin. Access to capital, di ba? May mga lenders, may mga bangko na nag-focus na mag-provide ng capital sa mga magsasaka, sa mga tindera ng palengke, etc. May mga ganyang mga NGO na yan ang project. So, I think it is really important to understand that it is not as simple as providing financial literacy. However, it is still important to provide that because that is part of the equation. Okay? So, at the end of the day, we will continue to promote financial literacy to equip everyone with the necessary skills to manage their money. But most especially, the rich and privileged, because they have the power and influence to create systemic solutions to uplift the poor. Magtuturo kami ng financial literacy para tulungan lahat ng tao. Gusto naming matulungan yung mga mahihirap para makuha na yung first part of the equation, but also yung mga mayayaman kasi if they are financially literate, they will be able to grow their money and hopefully, yun yung question mark on, hopefully, they will use their power and influence to create systemic solutions to uplift the poor. And I think it's really important na lahat tayo nagtutulong-tulong kasi tayong mga privileged na may internet, I would say may privilege na kasi meron tayong internet. And we have access to more resources than the less privileged ones. We use our power and influence to create and provide systemic solutions to those who are under us. Tulungan natin yung mga nasa laylayan, kumbaga. Okay? So, that's basically our story time for this afternoon. And I hope may na-share ako sa inyo na something na pwede nyong pag-isipan. Okay? So,